tautology, a funny way to say the same thing twice. There are two types of tautologies, verbal and logical. A verbal tautology is a phrase or statement that says the same thing twice. You could say, I'm going outdoors to play in the sun. But outdoors isn't necessary because where else is the sun going to be located? A logical tautology is a statement that must always be true. For example, the future will be the same or it will be different. This statement doesn't have a point because it's obvious that one of these must happen. By removing tautologies from your writing, you can make it tighter. Tautologies aren't always bad, though. Throughout history, writers have been using them to stress ideas. For example, you can see one in the name of a famous song, Shout It Out Loud by Kiss. Clearly, there's no way to shout quietly, but adding out loud adds to the feeling of the title. So, watch out for tautologies. Knowing about them can make you a more capable writer.
Hello everyone, welcome to English for You. I'm Mike.
And I am Laura.
You're
I'm not using tautology.
No, you are Laura, and Laura is your name. You are named Laura.
Laura Lee with glee.
Laura is your moniker. Yes, we're talking about tautologies, which are funny ways, or a funny way to say the same thing twice. Funny, it also could be annoying. If people do it all the time, you're like, I know
Personally,
what you're
I
saying.
think,
Don't
in
say
my
it.
opinion,
Oh gosh, if you
know,
really want to know what my opinion is, what I think about this personally, yes,
so
exactly. So
annoying.
let's get to our article. We've already learned a little bit about tautology. Remember Sally and her story where she was making a sandwich by herself for herself in her own kitchen or whatever. There are two types of tautologies. We learn that in the article as we begin today. So this is kind of interesting. Verbal and logical. And you might actually fully say verbal tautologies and logical tautologies. So they're both forms of saying the same thing twice, but kind of in different ways or for different reasons.
所以我们来看一下 tautology 有两种哦。那 tautology 其实就是赘词嘛，昨天有提到就是同义，然后不断的反复哦。那有什么呢 ？verbal 就是言语上或是文字上的，还有 logical 就是逻辑上的重复的概念哦。这两个都是形容词。
All right, so a verbal tautology, verbal usually means speaking and words. A verbal tautology is a phrase or statement that says the same thing twice. We saw a lot of those examples in Sally's story.
6 a.m. in the morning.
There you go. That was one statement that definitely was saying the same thing twice. Let's talk about this word statement. What is a statement? A statement is basically something that you say or that you write that gives a fact or gives a bit of information in a kind of formal way. I mean, every time you say something, you are making statements, but we wouldn't really say it. We would say, my friend said something funny today, not my friend made a humorous statement today. But you could, that would be a statement. No, but really when we use the word statement, we're kind of using it in a more formal way. We're looking at what you said, the language you said, the idea that you were trying to communicate to other people. So politicians will make statements. Companies will make statements when they're kind of telling the public, telling the press. The government might make a statement that there's a typhoon coming tomorrow, so schools in this area will be closed. It's not just one person kind of talking and saying. No, it's official, it's important, and it will probably be information that you should listen to, trust, and use in some kind of way. Here's an example. After the news about his crime was published, the famous actor's lawyer released a short statement. Famous actor, he denies all this, he was never there, and he believes that justice will prevail. And then they'll, give that to the reporters and the press, and that will be the official statement.
Statement 其实就是一个说法、陈述，它是一个名词哦。 举例来说，也可能是个搞笑的哦。The comedian made a hilarious statement that had the audience rolling in laughter. 这个喜剧演员说了一个非常搞笑的一个说辞哦，就是一句话让大家都捧腹大笑。所以课文提到的 tautology，OK， 就是言语上的 tautology 这一词，就是指一个词语。或者是陈述重复了同样的事情。
All right, here's an example of some verbal tautology. You could say, I'm going outdoors to play in the sun. Yeah, right. All right.
Outdoors, sun. Yeah.
Exactly. Outdoors means outside. It means out in nature, not in a building, but under the sky and the sun in, the great outdoors in Mother Nature. For example, for this word outdoors, the weather was so nice, we decided to eat lunch outdoors or outside or in the park or somewhere like that, but not in a building.
Outdoors 这里是个副词，注意它后面有 s 哦，就是在户外。像是相反词在户内，就是室内，就是 indoors。Okay, for example, my dog loves going outdoors for walks and exploring new smells in the neighborhood.
Oh, and going to the bathroom outdoors too,
probably. 他可能是在闻就是附近邻居的味道，或是想要去上厕所。
I guess if he goes to the bathroom, he's just adding scent smells to the neighborhood.
Okay, 所以大家有没有发现这一句话里面就有赘词、冗词 tautology？ 我要到户外，在太阳底下玩耍。Outdoors, sun?
Exactly. So if you haven't figured it out, we explain in the article, but outdoors isn't necessary because where else is the sun going to be located? You can't stay inside and play in the sun unless the sun is inside your house, in which case your house is on fire. And it doesn't make any sense. So yes, the sun is only located outdoors. So you can say, I'm going outdoors to play, I'm going to play outside in the sun, but you don't have to say both. All right, because as we said for that sentence, the sun is only located outdoors. That's true. To locate something is to place something or to be in a place or to find a place that you're looking for. Basically, we're talking about the world, we're talking about geography, we're talking about maps and Google Earth, and you use apps like that to locate places that you're going to go to. Or if you want to just have a fancy way of saying, where is your new house? You could say, where is your new house located? In other words, in what place in the world is it? For example, I heard that a new hospital is being built in our neighborhood. Do you know where it will be located? Do you know where it will be? Do you know where it is? In other words, I want to know in the world where to find that place or thing.
The location.
The location.
Locate 在这里呢是当做动词来用，就是使坐落于某个地方。那 locate 也可以指找出啊，或是查出的意思哦。像是在口语，你可能会这么说 ：Can you help me locate my keys? I can't find them anywhere. 你可以帮我找到我的钥匙吗？我真的找不到它们诶。那常常我们会用 be located， 然后后面接 at in 一个地方，位于某处哦。For example, the new coffee shop is located in the heart of the city, attracting a lot of customers. 这家新咖啡店位于市中心，吸引了很多的顾客哦。那回到课文提到的就是在户外，也就是 outdoors， 其实是不必要的，因为太阳除了在户外，还会在哪里呢
？All right, next we come to the other type of tautology that we were talking about. This is actually my favorite one.
Really?
These are the ones that make you laugh.
Okay.
The other ones make you think, that guy's just a bad writer or something. But these ones can kind of make you laugh. A logical tautology is a statement that must always be true. For example, the future will be the same or it will be different.
什么啦 I mean, it's one of the other.
It will be the same or it will be different. Yeah.
Okay.
It just kind of
Anybody can say that.
It kind of makes your brain flip-flop and makes you go, wait, did I hear what the... I'm not quite... Okay.
So funny.
Doesn't make sense.
好，我们来听听看，这个是 Mike 他觉得最搞笑的逻辑赘述，是一个 必须始终为真的陈述，例如未来要么会一样，要么就会不同，那不是废话吗
Yeah, this statement doesn't have a point because it's obvious that one of these must happen. There's a famous one actually from British TV.
Really?
In a soccer game, the guy said, "Oh, if that ball had gone in the net, it would have been a goal." Yeah. It would have been a goal if it had gone in the net, but it didn't. Of course. But people just say these things sometimes because, they're just not thinking.
好了，这样子的陈述是没有意义，因为很明显其中一种状况一定会发生，不是这个就不是这个，那我当然知道啊。Point 在这里呢是个名词，表示原因、理由或是意义哦。
All right, now, why is this a problem? Well, it isn't a huge problem. You can still be a happy person by speaking in tautology. People might think you're a little weird and not necessarily trust what you say, but if you're writing things, if you're trying to get your point across, if you're doing sort of high-level writing like in university or for work, try to avoid these. By removing tautologies from your writing, you can make it tighter. You can make it shorter and easier to understand, more efficient, in other words. Tautologies aren't always bad, though. You can use them, especially with creative writing, that kind of thing. But if it's writing for school or for work in a professional way, yeah, try to avoid them.
OK， 那通过去除你写作当中的 tautology， 就是赘述，你可以让你的写作更加的tight 是什么呢 ？OK， tight 在这里是有严谨的意思哦。然而，赘述并不是总不是好的哦，意思就是说他们也是有好的地方。So what's good about tautologies then?
Well, throughout history, writers have been using them to stress ideas.
I guess so.
Yeah, so if you're trying to get a point across, especially kind of an emotional thing, then it might kind of work out. And yes, you can find many cases of writers using tautologies throughout history. Let's talk about this word throughout. Now, throughout really should be through all, because that's kind of what we're saying. In all parts of something, this happened, you can find this, something like that, right? So if it's in every part of something, you can say throughout. It'd be really annoying if you're on a long airplane flight and a baby is screaming behind you throughout the flight, through all of the flight. When we took off, screaming baby. When we flew, screaming baby. When we ate our dinner, screaming baby. When we landed, screaming baby. So it would be very annoying if it was through all of the flight or throughout your flight. Here's an example that's a little more serious. Taiwan's economy continued to grow throughout the 1980s. Yeah, all through that decade, Taiwan's economy was going up, was making more money. It grew throughout that whole period. And we also have the word to stress here. Now, we're not talking about I'm stressed out because I got 3 exams tomorrow. No, we're talking about putting emphasis on focusing on something, bringing extra special attention to this thing because it's really important. And if you miss it, you'll be in trouble. I'll be in trouble. That's why I'm stressing it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I get your point.
Exactly. It's an important point, and I really want to make sure it doesn't get ignored or forgotten or kind of skipped over. So I'm stressing it in that way. For example, the teacher stressed that this lesson would be on the final exam. This material will be on your final exam. If you fail to learn it for the final exam, don't be surprised if you fail the final exam because it will be on the... They stress things like that.
And that will make the students feel stressed out.
Well, no, if they study it, they won't be stressed.
Okay.
As long as you stress what the teacher stresses, you won't be stressed before your exam.
Okay.
I'm stressing that point.
OK， 所以再回到刚刚是讲到 tautology， 在整个历史中，作家一直在使用 tautology 来强调思想一个想法哦。Throughout，OK， 这个介系词就是在什么整个期间。For example, throughout the movie, the audience laughed at every funny scene. It was a funny movie.
I did that once in a movie, and the guy in front, he complained. He said, "Do you have to laugh at everything?" And then we laughed at him.
OK，
because it was funny.
所以我觉得 Mike 笑点是蛮低的。再来 stress 这个字就是强调 emphasize，OK， 它是一个动词。
Here's an example. For example, you can see one in the name of a famous song, Shout It Out Loud by Kiss. Shout it, shout it, shout it out loud.
Okay, I'm not gonna sing it.
No, don't sing it.
在一个很有名的歌曲的名称当中，你就可以看到 tautology 是 OK 的哦。Shout it out loud， 这是 Kiss 来演唱的。Okay, I get it. Shout
Think
out
about
loud.
that title.
Yeah.
That's right. Shout it out loud.
We know it's shouting already,
As the article
right?
says, clearly there's no way to shout quietly, but adding out loud adds to the feeling of the title. If they
That's
just
true.
said shout it, it also wouldn't match the music. I'm not actually sure. Kiss aren't exactly Shakespeare.
No.
So they might not have known that they were doing a tautology there. But it is technically a tautology, and of course it's a song the fans still love to shout out loud. So
Okay.
there you go.
所以 add to something 就是加剧或是增加。那显然你们有办法小声的大声喊吗 ？Shout 本来就是大声啊，但是加上 out loud 大声的喊。就可以增加标题的感觉哦，这是 tautology 它 OK 的使用法。
There you go. Kiss were more famous for their makeup than for their tautologies, for
Yeah.
sure. So, watch out for tautologies, Kiss. Knowing about them can make you a more capable writer. That's absolutely true, and it might make you a great rock song writer too. And if you're capable, that would be good because that means you're able to do something. You're skillful, you have the knowledge, the tools, the training. If someone goes, "Hey, can you fly a helicopter?" and you go, "No, I'm not capable of doing that. I have to study for many hours and practice and stuff like that." Then you will be capable. How about Melody? I think we should hire Melody.
We should.
She seems like a very capable computer programmer, and she's a big fan of Kiss.
She is.
No, we maybe
Okay,
shouldn't hire
and
her.
that's why we're hiring her. Okay, watch out for something，
Yes.
就是当心什么，留意什么。而 capable 在本课呢，就是很有本事啊，很能干的，它是一个形容词。来举个例子哦 ，Despite his small size, the ant is capable of carrying objects many times its weight.
It's true.
尽管这个蚂蚁的体型很小，它是很有能力扛起比它自己重很多倍的物体哟。所以最后课文是说小心，因此我们要小心 tautologies， 要了解它们，可以使你成为一个更有能力的作家。So yeah, make good use of tautologies, guys.
And do notice them if you can when people are speaking. They might make you giggle when they come out in funny
That's a
ways.
tautology.
That's exactly. Right. Can you think of any mistakes that often occur in writing that aren't tautologies? What are they and how can they be avoided or corrected?
Okay, well, some of the mistakes that often occur in writing that I see in my students are spelling errors,
Yes,
grammar mistakes,
of course.
and punctuation blunders.
No one knows how to use commas.
Yeah,
They're hard.
really?
Well, they can be.
Okay, so they can be avoided or
Yeah.
corrected by using spell check tools,
True.
auto check, yeah, right? Or proofreading carefully and seeking help from grammar sources or writing guides.
That's a good way.
Or another helpful tip that
Yes.
I would tell my students is to read your writing aloud, as it can help identify awkward phrasing or unclear sentences.
It's true. There are certain things you read them, they seem fine. You say them
Right.
out loud, and suddenly, oh yeah, that doesn't sound right. Yeah. Good
Or
tip.
use ChatGPT, or I'm not just kidding. Yeah, but remember to double check your work, right?
Yes, absolutely. And avoid double negatives. I don't have no something.
Or don't never,
I
something
don't
like
never do something.
Yeah.
Avoid those things too. But yes, always read as much as you can because if you get good examples from good writers, it'll make you a better writer for
Have
sure.
fun writing, guys.
And listen to some Kiss or don't. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next
Bye.
time. Bye. Shout it, shout it, shout it.
Vocabulary Review. Statement. The teacher asked the students to write a statement expressing their opinion on the chosen topic. Outdoors. Danny's job is taking care of gardens, so he spends most of his time outdoors. Locate. Locate. It's easy for me to get to work because my office is located very close to an MRT station. Throughout. Gary sounded sick and he was coughing throughout the day. Stress. This meeting is very important, so I must stress that you all show up on time. Capable. Herbert is a capable teacher who makes learning both fun and interesting.
智慧小补帖
Verbal. Logical.